Hello, it's Latreia again, and it's another good day. Let's see, I want to talk about what I've been up to, like what's really going on. And in thinking about what I'm up to, it makes me wonder, why is it so hard for people to talk about what's really going on? Um, Sometimes I feel like my problems are minimal. Sometimes I feel like my problems are so simple that the dumbest person could solve it. Um, I feel like I'll be judged. And those are just some of the reasons why I don't talk about what's really going on. But even though I don't talk about what's really going on all the time, when someone says, "Hey, how's your day?" or "Hey, how you been?" Most of the time I just talk about surface stuff, and it seems to me like the world needs more of an inside look, you know. It's time for us to stop stuffing our feelings. You know, I know it may be difficult for some of us because some people are in a professional environment and feelings aren't facts. And so people don't talk about their feelings. They drink them away, smoke them away, you know, um, sex it away, and I too am a product of that population, where I stuff my feelings. And, you know, the reason why I stuff my feelings is because I just want to feel good all the time. I want to feel good, and in good, I mean I want to feel at peace. I want to feel free. I want to feel just blissful. Um, but at the same time, I want to be enlightened, and I don't want to be stressed. And so I try not to do too much. I try to do the bare minimum. But I've noticed in doing the bare minimum, I still have to step my game up a little bit, add a little bit more to my life once I find that stability. And that's just a little bit, like we work on the things that we can work on, and we multitask. If I had to work on my relationship with my family first, and that meant I had to go into recovery, and I had to distance myself from them once I got my feet wet into recovery and realized that my family of origin may also be attributing to why I was in addiction, and so it is what it is. We do things that we think are the best thing for us. We do things outside of a higher power's will, outside of God's will, outside of a will that is greater than ourselves. And for many of us, we find ourselves stuck and depressed and in a dark, dark place. So some people, they are so involved in the struggle. They say the struggle is real. We're going to be in the struggle regardless. And yes, it's true. We're going to struggle regardless. But in what facet are we struggling? Are we struggling to progress, or are we struggling to stay in the same position that we've been in for 10, 15, 20, 5, 2 years? What is more important? Once I developed a relationship with my family who pushed me into recovery, I felt that it was okay for me to distance myself from them until I got well and stabilized and at a place where I could talk to them again. And I'm thinking maybe as I'm getting clean and serene one day at a time, that they're getting clean and serene one day at a time. But did that happen? No, it did not. And I still relate to them because the struggle is real. I try to be perfect in all areas of my life. I try to be emotionally balanced. I try to be mentally stable. I try to be financially well off. That's a big one, because with money, I started adding on more responsibilities, which required me to spend more money. And so I had to spend my money in places where I'm okay that it's gone and that I won't see that again. So I had to, use my money for housing, use my money for food, use my money for clothes. Now, once I got a set wardrobe, I used that wardrobe for like 2 years. Winter, summer, spring, and fall. 2 times around. And it may even be 3 times if I decide to go on a trip out of town or go on a trip out of the country. I haven't been on a trip out of the country yet. I've only been to the islands. I have been to Canada, but not since I've been providing a life for myself. My parents took me to Canada, my father in particular, and he took me to sushi restaurants. Me and the family, spent off $100 easy. Took me to the Cheesecake Factory, took me to King's Dominion. They've got my hair done when I was growing up, bought me new clothes, invested in new clothes for my sports training. They did a lot for me. And now I realize how difficult that is to keep that regimen up for myself and now for my daughter. And God forbid my husband loses his job, I have to make him feel like I'm supporting his next step, because I don't want my husband to be in a job that makes him miserable and makes him mean to me and my family by either not spending enough time with us, ignoring us, getting snappy. I don't want that. And if his job is causing him emotional and mental and personal, physical ailments, I do not want him to experience that pain, because it's not necessary. The poverty level is like, for me, I was making $0 a month, living off of my parents and little hustles. Then I came into $500 a month, where I could start paying for myself and food stamps and Medicaid, and Medicare. So I started there at that $500 a month for myself and for my daughter, And, with gifts, donations of clothes and shoes and wigs and, stuff like that. So from there, I've built a greater financial plan. But like I said, with that plan comes responsibilities that I chose. Credit cards that I chose to use wisely and to use for savings or emergency. And in savings, that is something that I do struggle with, is to get that 6 month worth of savings saved up, 6 months of bills. I mean, because I'm still trying to make up for what I couldn't get when I didn't have an income for 10 years. Just imagine that. No substantial income for 10 years. I mean, I made like $500 a month if I went to work for almost 10 years. And I had to have a car, and I had to have insurance. I had to pay for a sitter, and in the meantime, I wasn't looking for a job. I was trying to look for a job at one point, but then I slacked off because I wanted to party, because I was trying to feel good, and today I use different avenues to feel good. I don't know if I've changed, but I've certainly changed some of my behaviors. I don't party as much. I work with a healthcare team to help me live another day. I have a supportive husband, and a supportive child, which is a privilege, because being out here single and on your own with no kids is one thing. Being out here single with kids who just don't have any compassion or sympathy, that's another thing. Being out here with a significant other who doesn't have a job, doesn't work, doesn't do work around the house, doesn't help you with the kids, that's another thing. So we all can figure out our struggle. But if we're good with our family and we're good financially, what else could we be struggling with? How can we also identify with those who are in the struggle 100% in all areas of their life? So physically, I have my limbs, emotionally, struggles, we talked about that, your feelings, and then mental struggles. What is healthy mental thinking? What is a healthy mentality? I'm still learning what a healthy mentality is, because I still have to revert back to my old ways of thinking. And I don't have to, but I do. I revert to my old ways of thinking. That's ways that my parents taught me, ways that people in the streets have taught me, and things that I've taught myself. And what does that look like? What does that sound like? So, for instance, I gotta get mine in order for you to get yours. I gotta take care of me-self before I can take care of anybody else. He did me wrong, and he did me wrong. And she did me wrong, so you're gonna do me wrong too. So I'm gonna listen at the door to see if you're talking to anybody. I'm gonna ask you questions, trying to figure out if you're on the internet with somebody, when you've never technically done that to me, giving people a chance, that's something that I have to learn how to do, and that's a trust issue. I have to trust, logically be able to trust. What else? I know trust is a struggle that everybody has to go through. So even though we may be free from the physical struggles and the financial struggles and the family struggles, we're not exempt from the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual struggles. What does that look like? How open-minded are we about spirituality? Are we closed-minded about spirituality? As in, there's only one path, and that's the straight and narrow. And that's the way to go. Any other way, you're going to hell. Is that how we think? Or do we think that we make a choice? This is how I think. We make a choice each and every day to do the next spiritually right thing. And we have guidance. We just have to listen for that guidance. And we get chances. Each day, each moment, each minute that we live, we get another chance. We get another chance. And so we have to continue living in order to figure out what's the right way for us to live. And that's can be considered straight and narrow. I don't know. But if we refrain from looking at that spiritual journey as a long-term pathway to heaven, and instead look at the spiritual journey as what we're given in the present moment, and how we're able to get through the moments, and how we're able to get through the hour, how we're able to get through the days, the weeks, the months, the years, the decades. I think we are understanding a little bit more about spirituality. And so we continue to learn. We learn from people. We learn from going places. We learn from doing things. And we are accountable for acquiring that knowledge. Some knowledge is granted to us, given to us with unconditional love, without any conditions. And that's what I search for. That's what I wait for. That's what I seek. That's what I want when it comes to amassing knowledge. And because I feel like that is the true knowledge that comes from the all-being creator of the universe. And so with that, I know it was a lot, but I'm so glad I was able to share with you guys. I didn't prepare like I normally did, but I'm glad I was here to share with you a little bit about what's really going on. All right, talk to you later. Bye.